Hello all, welcome. Today I want to go over how you can discover and find your voice. This comes up a lot, right? In the sense of like, where do you even start when you're going, I really want to sing or I want to better my vocals, but it's like with the massive amount of information out there, which is like great, but sometimes not so great, because I've been there where I've gone down the rabbit hole of Google and been like, ah! It's crazy. It's crazy. There's so much information. So I today want to break down 5 things that I think you can start with that are really going to help you to simplify things and ultimately help focus your attention so that you can find your natural voice. Let's begin. To begin finding your voice, I think one of the first things you can do is just start with some simple exercises just to understand, where does my voice feel best right at this moment? Keeping in mind that the more you do something, the better you're going to get. As a little note with that though, it has to be the right kind of technique. Because if you do the wrong thing over and over, it could lead to damage. So, that being said, but typically the more you do something in the right kind of way, you're going to get great results. But to start, it's like doing some simple scale work with some lip trills. And you might start to notice as you go into certain ranges, I'll give an example if it was, right? It felt a little tight, like you can just make note of that. Okay, that's a little tight for me, or that's starting to go into really the higher range that isn't where I'm sitting. So you can just start by doing simple exercises, making note of what feels comfortable and what doesn't, and kind of honing in on what does feel comfortable. I would say like hone in with there and then start to slowly grow out of that. So lip trills, closed mouth hums is another one. They tend to be really great ways to start. All right, number 2 I would say is make sure you are doing good breathing. This is huge. I would say that breathing, in particular diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, right? How do you like that one? That is the foundation of what you need to have happening, right? It's like the foundation of a house. You would not build a house, well, you could, right? But it probably wouldn't last. But you need that cement foundation. And then you start to build up the walls and the framework, right? Because if you just put the framework up and say there was like strong winds or something, it's the old classic, what is it? 3 pigs. Think about the 3 pigs, right? The strong one didn't last. I forget what the other ones were. But basically, the one that was the sturdiest had it was the bricks, and I don't know if they got into foundation, but I would imagine there was a great foundation underneath there. So, what I want for you to think about right now is that diaphragmatic breathing is your friend, and that is really going to help you discover where your voice is at and bring out your natural voice. Another huge thing as you're discovering your voice is pitch. You want to get really good at being able to hear notes and sing notes. So a good exercise that you can start with is just hear a note and hum it. And then sing it. Hear it, hum it. So it's like hear it, hum it, sing it, and just do that. You can start for those beginning just by doing like a half step up. And then eventually, as you feel better and better, you can just do what's called random pitches. That way it kind of trains what it's kind of like when you sing songs, right? That the notes are all over the place and they're not necessarily going to be in this predictable order there. I mean, even it runs and stuff like that. but in general, you want to just get really good. So I'd start with just taking half step up, and then I'd work on just some random pitches, and getting really, really good at being able to hear pitch and sing it. And again, pitch equals note. All right, another aspect of really discovering your voice is to be able to understand what your range is at. And I have a video, and I'm not going to break it down today, where I go over finding your vocal range, and you can check that out below. But I just want to talk about the key importance of this, because a lot of times singers get discouraged because they're trying to sing songs that they may love, but that aren't fitting their range. And so it becomes really, really hard when you are singing a whole bunch of, say you have a voice more in line with like early Taylor Swift, right? Mid, lower, I'd call her like alto, right? Lower range there for a female. And you're trying to sing a bunch of like Ariana Grande songs. You're not setting yourself up for success because you're actually not fitting your voice where it is right now. Again, not that it can't change, because it totally can, and it totally will. And it can expand. That's what I meant there. It's like putting the two words together. Listen to me. But that being said, do yourself a huge favor and find your range and really find the songs. You can always take the Ariana Grande songs and lower the key. Fine. You might find though, because she tends to sing, or she can sing certain songs, sing so high up there that it just isn't where you're at right now. But find that where your range is at, and then find those songs around there, and you're going to find more success, especially if you're implementing great breathing, right? Ear training exercises to be able to hear the pitch and be able to sing those notes as you're listening to the song there, right? You're doing your scale work to find ultimately too with that really great placement, which is another key aspect that I just want to throw in there. Placement is where sound is going to, right? People can sing in their throat, in the middle of their mouth. They can sing in their nose, oh baby, or they can sing here. This is where. Forward placement is where we want to go. So you want to make sure too, when you're singing those scales and those notes, that's where you're working towards. And if you feel like you're, ooh, what can I do with that? Some good breathing. Or what leads me to the last tip here is find yourself a great coach, right? If you're struggling, if you're online and you can't seem to get the stuff, the skills there or the different exercise, and you keep struggling with that, like I'm struggling for the word right now. Maybe I need a speech coach. No. Then do yourself a huge favor, and tip number 5 is seek out guidance. That can be one of the greatest ways for you to really be able to discover your voice. So, hopefully this helped you all. Drop a comment if it did. I'd love to hear your feedback and any tips that you've had with finding your voice. And be sure to subscribe. That helps me a ton, so that this way I know that you're liking this stuff and I can keep creating some fabulous content for you all.